the chat or anything, just so you know.
What's up, y'all? Live from the Toyota Lounge. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use that code DNVR365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. We are talking about a 2-1 win in the home opener over Utah. Maybe not the prettiest win, but they count all the same.
They do.
Ugly dubs are still dubs, right, Rudo?
Every dub still spells W. You still get to go visit Dr. Dubs when you hit it. I would almost go so far as to say, yes, obviously you don't want to see the Avs play that way night in and night out. You know they're better than what they showed, but a lot of this game is why the NHL should fear the Colorado Avalanche, because they could put a B game, C+ game, maybe.
I mean, it's kind of what we were talking about pregame.
Yep, exactly.
You have so much star power that there are going to be nights where you can more or less coast and you get 2-3 incredible plays from a couple of key players, and then that's all it's going to take, especially when you're getting the type of quality play in net that you're getting from Wedgewood right now.
Yeah. The Avs, I don't know that this is a recipe for success a lot of nights, but it's a recipe for success because the Avs have all of the pieces that they need. Wedgewood, we'll talk about him a ton later, but their depth had a good game. They had a lot of quality play at 5-on-5, even if you were missing some of your higher-end players. Maybe expectations were a little bit higher for good portions of this game from them, and you didn't get that, and so what? You still won.
We didn't even really have time to hit on it in pregame, but one of the things that I had in my notes from that LA Kings game was as much attention as we're always going to naturally focus on the top six and the strength. You're getting quality production right now out of those bottom six.
You are. We'll get into the third line even more later in the game too, but you're not just getting goals. I know everyone likes to look at the goals and that counts the most. Like, that is the objective of hockey. That's what you have to do. And the Avs get a depth goal, but you're getting a lot of quality ice time from these guys too. You're getting quality minutes, not just, okay, they're not giving up anything, but they're wearing the other teams down. They're making the other teams work to not give up more, particularly that third line. And your fourth line is doing a good job of playing. Are they really that physical? No, but Parker Kelly's not afraid to run into stuff. Kiviranta's not a fun guy to play against. They make the other team's life hard. Even Gavin Brindley, who I didn't notice as much tonight, not like popping like he was in game one, but 2 block shots and 2 hits on the night. They're being effective hockey players.
Love to see a young guy muck it up. Love to see him put his body on the line, be willing to make the hustle plays. That's how you stay on the roster. You know,
100%.
You're not here to score goals right now. Sure, it'd be great if he could chip in with a few, but I just like that teams can't rest on their laurels. They don't get a little 60-second reprieve when those top guys go off. If you do, those guys are going to produce on you. And it's 2 games, obviously a lot of hockey to be played, but I like how those guys are looking right now. And as you said, we'll get into that in a little bit. Do you want to go through the 60-second rundown?
Yeah, let's hit it. Do we have a clock, or are we just going? Okay, I'll just go. First period, much better first period than in LA. We saw the Avs. It did feel like it came in spurts at times, but generated a high-quality amount of offense. Ridiculous number of dangerous chances. Got the better of Utah in that period, no doubt, and they ultimately get rewarded with that third line getting a beautiful goal. Olofsson to Drury to Colton to give the Avs the 1-0 lead early. Loved everything about that period and hated the second period just as much. By far the worst period of the season so far for the Avs was that second period. They're lucky to have only given up 1 goal. They only generate 4 shots. Really not even dangerous against Utah in that period, including 2 brutally bad power plays. Utah gets a power play late and shows them how it's done. They score almost immediately to make the game 1-1. But the Avs get their vengeance in the third period. They get another power play opportunity that they make count this time to get the 2-1 lead. And with Wedgewood in net, that was enough. The Avs didn't have to do anything special on the scoreboard because Wedgewood gives up 0 goals at 5-on-5 for the second game in a row. Pretty close. Pretty close to the 60 seconds.
How fortunate were they to only go into that third tied? Because it felt like they were playing with fire a little bit there for a while. I don't know if Utah was necessarily locked in. It wasn't as if they were putting a ton of consistent pressure, but the puck management wasn't always great. Felt like there were some sloppy giveaways at times. I mean, you could probably point to 4 or 5 instances in this game where Wedgewood just straight up made a play and bailed his teammates out.
Yeah, I think it's 3 things. One, it's Wedgewood. Unbelievable tonight. Again, unbelievable world of difference from the start of last season when you look at the goaltending the Avs are getting to start this year. And I'll give him some more flowers later. But a couple of other factors in that second period are, yes, I do not think Utah took advantage of some of the opportunities that they could have to the best of their ability. And that's not just Wedgewood stoning them for the period, but it just felt a little bit sloppy. A team that's playing their first game of the season. So keep in mind, they're gearing it up and getting into regular season shape in similar ways to the Avs' first period against LA. I think we saw some of that out of Utah, but also despite the lack of offense, and yes, there were some defensive mistakes, as a team, the Avs still played pretty good defense throughout this game. I know it wasn't great in the second period, but you were not giving up a ton of super high danger chances. You would give up the odd man rush or a breakaway chance here and there. But if Utah got into their setup offensive zone, the Avs were in the lanes. They were blocking shots. They were doing the stuff they needed to do from a team that wasn't necessarily playing very well. The effort level, I think, outside of some of the top guys at times, was still there for this lineup to... Were they still lucky to not be down after the second? Yes, but they were doing enough to keep it from getting out of hand.
It's fair. I'd like to see the response, too, with the way that they came out in the third.
Third period was much, much better.
In some ways, that's almost frustrating at times. So, like you said in the watch along, we'll just do that all the time.
Where was that 20 minutes ago?
I know it's not that simple. It's human nature. It's going to happen.
It's the top guys that it's interesting for me because we're 2 games through, and I don't think you've seen even close to the best from the Avs top line. Yeah, Marty Necas had 2 unbelievable shots for great goals in the first game. Nathan MacKinnon makes arguably the most important play of the game in this game to help the Avs win, but the other 58 minutes of the game, MacKinnon was at times actively bad. And I know we'll talk about him more later, but you really haven't seen anywhere close to what that, I'll say the whole top 6, honestly, is capable of this forward core. And they're still winning, so all good.
You obviously have plenty of time to find a rhythm to get into the flow of the season and whatnot. But how quickly does that need to happen for you before you start getting, I don't want to say like you're hitting panic mode or anything like that, but before it starts to become something that's maybe in the back of your mind a little bit worrisome?
If they're winning, I don't worry. I wouldn't even think about it all that much until like 20 games into the season, to be honest with you.
You got plenty of time.
Yeah, it's a long road. If you start losing games, that clock starts ticking a whole lot faster. But early season stuff, I think a lot of the puck sloppiness you mentioned in these early games, it's just kind of part of the situation. You work through that, you get back into the rhythm of a season. A lot of that stuff goes away and you start seeing more crisp play. So that stuff doesn't bother me all that much. A top 6 of guys that are just too good of hockey players to struggle for very long, it's fine.
How do you feel like they came out in this one?
Much better than the first game. The very, very start, the first 5 minutes still felt a little bit sluggish to me. I do think there was a better way to start the game on time or whatever you want to call it on that front. But the first period, they were working. They were doing the job correctly. I think particularly you saw the difference between playing a team like LA, who is very defensively responsible, and it can be hard to get through the neutral zone and hard to push that offensive pace. And once the Avs settled into this game on Utah, they started hitting their breakouts. They started getting into the zone. They started having these effective flurries of hockey going in the right direction. And Utah it's not that they couldn't keep up. They did a great job of skating with the Avs, I think, for the majority of this game. But when the Avs really decided to put the pressure on them, you could feel Utah tense up a little bit, and the Avs were able to take advantage of that at times.
feel like that's got to be pretty common, though. Like,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I get they're all pros, but there's
Still
levels
Nathan
to this
MacKinnon.
when it comes to the pace that the Avs can push on you.
100%. There are not a lot of teams that can skate the way the Avs can skate, and I do think the Avs are sneaky good physically this year in a way that teams aren't really ready for. And that isn't Josh Manson blowing people up, which he did again, by the way, in this game. But it's the board work all the way up and down the lineup. Landeskog, strong on the boards. Nichushkin, strong on the boards. Lehkonen, great on the boards. In your bottom six, Drury, awesome on the boards. Kelly will work his butt off on the boards. When they get LOC back, he's great at that. So there's a lot of situations where last year maybe you felt like, oh, this is an easy puck battle against the Avs. That not quite so easy this year.
I think that's one of the biggest positive takeaways for me, for sure, is that they're going to have the high-end scoring ability. They're going to have the pretty plays.
Yep.
Where they get out in space and MacKinnon and Makar get to do what they do, and even Netchis and some of those other guys.
Yeah.
I like that we're seeing a lot of guys doing the gritty stuff and working their ass off to kind of create something out of nothing.
You don't win a 2-1 game without that. You lose that game 3-2 or 3-1 or
almost got the prediction on the head.
You were on it. They just needed to hit the empty netter for you, and we'd have been in there.
You still made some people some money though pregame.
Yeah, the bets did hit. We did hit all three of those by all skill for sure. Definitely, no doubt about that one. But it's an interesting situation that I think the Avs find themselves in the early season where they are expected to be the better team most nights, and it's not just because of the top guys. You have the guys that do the dirty work that teams are going to see the Avs lineup this year, and nobody wants to play against Nathan MacKinnon, but they're going to look all the way up and down it and go, man, we got to play these guys tonight. I don't want to have to go fight 15 board battles against Josh Manson. I don't want to deal with Brent Burns tonight. Like, every little bit of it, the Avs are not going to be a fun team to play against.
When you throw in Landy in there,
Yeah,
he
exactly.
can be a pest. Like, it wears teams down on top of the pace that you're already going to have to deal with every single night, especially at home. And they're all pros. I'd wonder how much the altitude is going to be in effect on a team like Utah. I mean, they're practicing.
They're pretty high up there anyway,
pretty high up in the mountains as well. But I liked the response in the third period. The second period was ugly.
There's two key things there that I want to touch on. One, yes, the response is good. You can have a bad period and be able to bounce back, and the Avs did, and it's important to show that as a team. But that power play goal is what immediately separates this year from last year for me. And I know we'll probably talk about the power play more, but so often last year, I think the frustrations with the power play weren't necessarily that, oh, they're having a bad streak, or, oh, this one power play was bad, which was true at times. But where the Avs really, really struggled on the special teams last year was the important ones, the critical power plays. A tie game in the third period power play, you can almost guarantee last year that the Avs were going to do nothing with it.
It's one of the biggest factors in the Stars loss.
Yeah, 100%. And they get one in the third period in a 1-1 game, and they convert. And they go on to win the game because of it. That's the difference. Right away, it just feels different from last year's problems. And there were some bad power plays in this game, don't get me wrong. But the important one, they got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, your first two, you don't even get a shot on goal.
Bad.
So that's something you got to clean up.
Yeah.
Did almost get the ricochet on when Marty drove
close.
hard to the net.
It was close.
Would have been a really fun highlight had he been able to pull it off. But it just seemed a little disjointed. And that's why I like that on that third one, not only did they find the back of the net, but it was polished, it was crisp, and boom, you get the shot on net, execute, take advantage of the key opportunity.
Snappy, and if someone is looking at the highlights, go look at how much room the puck movement created for Nathan MacKinnon in that far circle when he finishes that play. And MacKinnon puts an all-world shot on it, perfect play from him. But he has the time and space to do it because the team around him has created a play where there's not someone on top of him. Those little bits are what they're trying to do. When you see them moving around the puck and you don't love it because it's on the perimeter, there's a reason for it. Even if the Avs do get a little too in their head about it at times, what they're trying to set up is exactly what happens on the goal. And this time they did a better job of it. They did a better job of moving their feet. Nathan MacKinnon finds the soft spot. You win the game.
How much do you, and we have to get to a break here in a sec, so don't go too long, but how much do you attribute that to just more experience, more chemistry, more time spent together between Marty and Nate? Just the spacing.
I don't know how much of it is necessarily chemistry. I think the biggest spacing thing is Marty's existence forces MacKinnon to move his feet more, and that just creates a whole lot more for the Avs, regardless of them connecting necessarily.
Maybe got a little too stagnant at times.
Exactly.
That makes sense. If you're tuned in live with us on YouTube, throw us a thumbs up in the say what's up in the Toyota chat. We'd love to do a winner's shot. I mean, game one, the vibes, let's get them going. We're going to take a quick break, shout out a couple of our awesome partners, and we will keep this party rolling.
Is Bet365 first?
No, I got it. It is our good friends over at Dick's Sporting Goods. Hey, Colorado, stop by your local Dick's Sporting Goods for the hottest apparel and footwear from top brands like Nike, Adidas Originals, FP Movement, VRST, Calia, DNVR, and more, plus some of the latest equipment for baseball, football, soccer, basketball, golf, and all your tailgating essentials. Found a lower price, we'll match it with our best price guarantee. Super cool to see us in Dick's Sporting Goods.
Sick.
If you're out in the wild, happen to see some gear, snap a pic, tag us, the DNVR Avalanche account. We'd love to see it. Get your gear fast with free curbside pickup at your nearest store or easy shipping from Dicks.com, because every season starts at Dick's.
It's weird seeing our merch in like stores that I actually go to and stuff.
Right?
It's definitely like, oh, that's pretty cool. If you want to get a little bit of extra money in your bag to maybe go buy some stuff at Dick's, hit up Bet365 and apparently follow my bets. 3 for 3 on the night. So you made out big if you've tailed my bets on the Avs game tonight. But even if you aren't following my bets, you can get with Bet365. Download the app with the QR code on screen. And when you sign up with a new account with code DNVR365, make sure you put $10 in, bet $5 on anything. You don't even have to win the bet. Win or lose, you get $200 in bonus bets just for participating. Then the bonus bets are essentially just free money. So go get with the free money, go get the bonus bets, and have some fun. If you win money with the bonus bets, you can just take it out and you've gained money. If you lose money with the bonus bets, they were bonus bets. So it doesn't matter. However you do it, make sure you do it with Bet365. They have a bunch of amazing same-game parlays and otherwise. Use the boost, sign up with the DNVR365 code. And of course, when you do gamble with Bet365, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today.
Welcome back to the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365. You want to touch more on the power play?
I do. Do we? Yeah, let's do that so we can get Bailey in first, and then we'll get.
Ooh,
back
got
to
the in-arena call.
Yeah. Quick work of it.
Hi,
Showed
you
up
guys.
early. What's up? If you don't know, if you're not on Twitter, the newest member of the DNVR Avs beat, Bailey Curtis, hired for the season. You'll be seeing a ton of her this year. We're super excited. Bailey, thank you for joining us from the rink. What are your initial takeaways from the Avs' first home win of the season?
It's a sloppy win, guys. This definitely was not a pretty one, but I think the grit and tenacity just kind of shows. It was very showing tonight how the Avs were able to kind of push through and eventually get that win. I had mentioned before the game that special teams were going to play a huge role in seeing how this team can be successful. And fortunately, Nathan MacKinnon did not make me a liar in that. So sloppy win. Third line looked incredible through the first period. Otherwise, not much for me to come out of this one.
I think that's fair. Looking through it, I don't want to spoil the future of our show, but who was your number one star of the game?
I've got to give that to Scott Wedgewood.
Yeah.
He absolutely deserved that for me. The one goal, whatever. His performance and the saves that he made alone were winners in my book.
Has he exceeded your expectations early on here? I mean, he played pretty well last year as well, but I mean, he's potentially looked like a number one. I don't think you have a goalie controversy or anything like that, but he's been sharp.
I don't think Avs fans will be disappointed when Blackwood comes back, but I think it's safe to say that Wedgewood has shown that he is capable of that starter spot and holding the fort down. It definitely is a next man up mentality, and Wedgewood's answered the call. That I think it's as simple as that. He's been able to rise to the occasion and prove that he is a capable goaltender, and I think that's really all you can ask of him.
2-0 to start the season. Locker room vibes, I assume, are up. We haven't had the chance to check out the interviews. What was the vibe in there, I guess? And also, The question on everyone's mind, do they have a winner's song yet this season?
It's hard to say after one game walking into that locker room. They also turned it off as soon as we started heading in, so I have no idea what they're listening to. The vibes, I feel like they're all feeling like everybody else is right now. Ross Colton, one of the standout quotes from him is that second period was unacceptable. The Avs are aware that they played a very sloppy game. Bednar did not like the neutral zone plays at all. Thought that his team was just not moving, plain and simple, or at least not moving the way that they needed to be moving. And that's the essentially the vibe that we got from everybody else. Scott Wedgewood, though, and talking with him afterward, I really loved him talking about the tone that they want to set in this arena. Josh Manson was brought up multiple times in different interviews and talking about how his physical play is set tone in games. And that's exactly what you want to see, especially in a game like this where maybe sloppy play is overtaking everything else, and showing that Josh Manson can rise to that occasion and help set a tone that you want to set, especially in the first home game of the season.
Manson might be wanted for murder pretty soon here. He's going after guys.
There comes down to, if the play's clean, I'm not sure there's much to do there. You can be upset about it all you want, but
We see a close game, unlike the LA game where the Avs kind of got to cruise through that third period. A couple of specific deployments that the Avs went with at times. Brent Burns over the 20-minute mark, helping it out with that top pairing who played 23 minutes. And then we saw a couple of shifts with Jack Drury down with that fourth line, maybe as more of a shutdown style. How much does someone like a Jared Bednar get to take away? How much did he learn from this team in that third period tonight?
shows that even when things are maybe not going your way, that this team can still keep up. That this team is, despite maybe not playing the way that Bednar maybe wants to see, there's still productivity to be taken away from this. There's still productivity to get out of guys like Brent Burns. There's still productivity to get out of a situation like the power play where you're maybe not seeing exactly what you want to see. And then, Nathan MacKinnon comes and shuts everybody up. That's a simple answer from me.
What was the reaction for Landeskog? You see some of the videos on social media. Do you think it's going to be like that all season? Like, is that ever going to get old? Like, that's probably phrasing it wrong, but at some point, is it just going to turn into, oh, well, yeah, we're just used to Landy being out there? Like, it still kind of feels like it's part of the comeback.
I think there's a little bit of a hazy period where people, I think, still have stars in their eyes watching him, at least through the first 10 games. That's the vibe that I'm getting from this arena. Everybody was so pumped to see Landy again being back for the regular season. I kind of mentioned this to somebody earlier today and saying there's only so many times that you can sit and talk about Landy's firsts when it comes to returning to the ice. And I feel like this is really the last one you can get, because Landy's proved that he's here to stay. He's proved that he can keep up with these guys even after everything he's gone through over the last 3 years, and that's nothing to shy away from at all. It is awe-inspiring and amazing to watch, but that's also what this Avs team has been missing for 3 years. And being able to see that out on the ice again is definitely, you can breathe a sigh of relief, but at the same time, this is something you should get used to. It's something that should become an expectation moving forward.
I don't know if it will really settle in until he gets his first goal on home ice. I think that you'll see the building pop off for that, and then maybe things will start to get a little bit back to normal for Landy. Last question from me for you, Bailey. When you look at the Avs, I don't know if you call tonight finding a way to win, but maybe overcoming their own poor play, how much do you take away from that as a sense of the Avs are just going to be a hard team to beat this year?
That's the tone that they're trying to set. Absolutely. It's, even if they're in a situation where they are playing against themselves, and it comes down to tenacity. It comes down to a will to win. And this team has proven that even in situations like you saw in the second period where this did not look like an Avalanche team you're expecting to see out there on the ice, that they can overcome that hump. There's obstacles to be skated around and to overcome, and they've more than proven that they have the ability to do that. So that should be the expectation moving forward.
What's the biggest thing you're looking for Saturday night against Dallas after this one?
I am looking for them to, talking about overcoming things, overcome the mind game. You're playing the team that handed you a first round exit in the playoffs. And for some people, for some guys in that locker room, that sting is still there. It's still felt, it's talked about at least a couple times a week when you're talking with these guys leading into the season. So it's still fresh in some of these guys' minds. And that mind game is going to be a very big part of Saturday, I think. As long as they're confident in the way that they know they can play, if they can play hopefully better than they did tonight, but still, again, proving that they have a want and a will and a drive to score goals, to move around defense, to find a way to make open ice even when given so little. That's really going to be the key.
Any fear that becomes like a boogeyman? You almost put too much emphasis and we got to get through Dallas. We got to get through Dallas. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the West.
I think in a situation where you're looking at the Central, you're looking at the West, and these are two of the biggest teams that teams around the league have to look through getting to. It's going to follow that, and it's going to follow you around for a while. I think maybe that's how some teams look at the Avalanche, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but
You can say Winnipeg.
it is. No, I definitely think this is a situation. It's becoming a team that the Avalanche definitely have on their radar moving through the season as almost a measuring stick in a way. Because you look back at last year's team, this team is not much different. You have a few new pieces here and there, but for most part, your core is still together. You have the team in place that you thought could do it against Dallas. And, with a better power play and some other fixes here and there, you can get through Dallas. And they know they have the capability to do it. It's just a matter of putting that into motion.
Awesome.
All right, Bailey, thank you for joining us. Make sure you get home safe. I know you got a lot of work coming with us, so you'll see her face around here all the time. Go follow her on Twitter. It's at Bailey Curtis. Is that right?
At Bailey Curtis with 2 Y's.
There you go. Go follow her. Thanks again. Appreciate y'all
See you,
live
boys.
from the arena.
Welcome to the team.
All right.
She's great.
Oh, she's awesome. Yeah, you guys are going to love her on the show and all of her written stuff. It's going to be fun.
I just keep thinking about Dallas now.
So I think it's an interesting conversation because I think last year's loss, at least for me, kind of broke the spell of like Avs versus Dallas as a thing. It's gotten to the point where
Because it's too lopsided?
yeah, like I'm to the point where I'll believe the Avs get through Dallas when they get through Dallas. And in some ways that's sort of freeing, right? Because you don't have to think about that every second of the day. And you're not constantly focused on this has to be the year we get through Dallas. Excuse me. To me, that is the playoffs problem this year. I'm not thinking about that until Dallas stands directly in front of the Colorado Avalanche. And if this regular season goes the way we expect it to, there's likely a division final second round matchup instead of a first one.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out the zag, and the pressure's not on the pressure's on Dallas to maintain the success.
I mean, I think there is some truth to that. A new head coach, a core that is significantly further into their aging curve than the Colorado Avalanche is, and a team that has not won the Stanley Cup yet. In a lot of ways, I think maybe not directly in the Avs-Dallas series, but there's a lot of pressures on Dallas that aren't necessarily on the Avs this season.
Love when a half-baked take comes out just fine. Put the cookies in the oven a little early. Didn't wait for it to preheat, but we pulled it out. They're still edible.
That's how you make it. Then they come out a little half done. I love a half-baked cookie, so.
Real cookie eaters know. A little bit mushy on the
I'm
inside,
saying.
just right.
I'm saying.
Let's take a quick break. Shout out a couple of our incredible partners, and we'll keep this rolling. Hit those likes, guys.
You're almost there.
I, despite the results, am still very excited for college football. I'm even more ecstatic for the NFL to be back. The Broncos are rolling. The vibes at Mile High are back in a major way. I'm fortunate. My family's been going to games for years, and it was a tough scene over there in Mile High for about a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, you're watching some Teddy Bridgewater ball, Vic Fangio, the Vance Joseph era. I mean, it was not fun, but now it is again, and you want to get down there, and the best way to do so is with the Game Time app. It gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Incredibly easy to use. The Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at your best price. Love how easy the app is to navigate. You can look at everything that's going on very simply. College football tickets, NFL tickets, you name it. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account. Use the code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms to apply. Again, create an account. Redeem that code DNVR for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Additionally, trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA. For generations, Toyota's built durable legends destined for greatness, perfect for Colorado. Whether you're trying to conquer the off-road trails, whether you're hauling the weight of the world, there is a Toyota that is just right for you. Check out the Tacoma, incredible truck. Check out the Land Cruiser. Toyota offers 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive like that 4Runner, perfect for Colorado living. Toyota, SUVs take command on the road and on the trail. Toyota, the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche and the official vehicle of DNVR. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota and Boulder, Groove Toyota and Littleton, Mountain States Toyota and Denver, Stevenson's Toyota East and Aurora and Stevenson, Toyota West and Lakewood. Again, Toyota, the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
They can actually understand it when you say it instead of me speeding through it. We did hit over 100 likes. Thank you very much, chat. We appreciate that. And can we get some Dr. Dubs emojis in chat from the Supporters Club? Cheers to y'all. Get your medicine. Whew.
Nothing like having to talk into a microphone after that.
Yeah. Tiff can probably hear the alcohol coming through the mic. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Should we get into the 3 stars?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I did the 3 stars tonight. Third star, I begrudgingly gave it to MacKinnon. MacKinnon scored the game-winning goal, had the most important play of the game outside of maybe some Scott Wedgewood saves. This is why Nathan MacKinnon is a superstar. Not because he's the best player on the planet every night. He can be on any given night. But some nights, he's struggling. And it's okay that you struggle on some nights when you can still show up in the moment that they need you and get the job done. I don't think you should be happy with the way Nathan MacKinnon played the first 40 minutes of this game. I think there were a lot of issues in his game. He had one decent opportunity that he got a save on him on a rebound opportunity that he couldn't finish. But ultimately, the reason the best players in the world get paid the big bucks is because they win games for you, even when they're bad. And that's what Nathan MacKinnon did tonight. So he deserves some credit there, even if his whole game wasn't the best.
It kind of feels like an offense, and quarterback who did nothing all game. Yeah. But when the game was on the line in the fourth quarter, what did he do? He led back-to-back scoring drives. He got the dub. Yeah, it wasn't pretty for a while. But
exactly.
When the game was there for the taking, the Nate Dogg was barking.
Yep. And the Avs are built in that way where when it's crunch time, there is a little bit of a clearing the lane for Nathan MacKinnon. And you can't expect that every night. You need supporting cast around him. You got 2 goals from Marty Necas in game 1. Okay, it was Nathan MacKinnon's turn tonight to give you a big one, and that's exactly what he did. He'll play better games. 78 of the remaining 80 games will probably be a better game mechanically for Nathan MacKinnon. But a lot of those games, he won't score a goal as important as the one he did in this one.
Does it and I feel like I'm turning every question into a negative somehow, and I don't mean it to be, but is there any concern that can become too much of the default in those scenarios? It makes sense. He's your leading goal scorer. He's a guy you're going to count on in the crunch time, but also it could be an instance where you're sitting around waiting for Nate to make a play.
I think there was more of that last year.
It did feel like that at times in the playoffs.
Yeah. I do think there was more of that last year. I think this year there should be less of that, more comfortability with Nate just there as one of those
More
guys.
continuity.
Exactly. Landeskog properly a full part of this team instead of a dude that just dropped in on you in the middle of the playoffs. The Avs have a really good locker room in the sense of they know when someone needs to step up. They can feel it. And Nathan MacKinnon is going to be the default, yes. But if there's opportunity, make no mistake, Gabe Landeskog will step up. Cale Makar will step up. I believe that Marty Necas will step up, and I know people have some concerns about him in the playoffs and all of that, and fair enough. Like, there are some...
I'll take any of your Marty stock if you're selling it, by the way.
No, not for sale, personally. People, I think, have overhated on Necas. He really had a pretty okay playoffs last year.
Especially at home.
Yeah.
He disappeared a little bit in those Dallas games, and that's fair. But I would say that would be the case for a couple of guys on the roster. They just didn't play that well out there.
The Avs playoff series needed one goal from anybody.
3 different games.
Yeah, anybody in the lineup scores one goal in game 2, game 3, or game 7, and they win. Like that's it. Tonight, that goal comes from Nathan MacKinnon, and that again, I'm kind of talking in circles here, but Nathan MacKinnon is one of the best players in the world, not because of how good he is on every given night, but because he's the guy you rely on.
He scored a lot of big goals in his career.
Yep. Hopefully many more to come. But while McKinnon's goal was big, the prettiest goal of the night comes from our second star, which is, I gave it to the entire third line because that goal was magic. Unbelievable play from all 3 forwards on your third line.
Just perfect passing.
Yep.
That was on a night full of a lot of rough puck management. I just felt like the puck was in no man's land a lot, especially in that second period.
A lot of pucks on sticks that should have been controlled that were not.
But that's exactly how that's a video game goal.
You just straight, like, there are 3 perfect plays. Not 1, 3 perfect plays. Olofsson cross ice with the perfect amount of sauce on it that it lands flat
right on the
perfectly
stick
for Jack Drury on his stick, which allows Jack Drury to one-touch it immediately to Ross Colton coming down the middle of the ice. And then Colton puts a perfect finish on it. He had a lot of net to shoot at, to be fair, but still puts a good shot on net. Exactly. And that's the goal you expect from the top line. If the top line does that, you go, yeah, that's why they're the best. When your third line does that, you feel invincible. If you can get that type of offense out of your third line, and the Avs' third line was by far the Avs' best line in this game. They were the best in possession, best at generating chances.
Yeah, we talked about the top 6 all pregame, and then the third line comes out and steals the show.
They spend all night dominating Utah, and unbelievably, they deserve all of the credit in the world. The only reason they're not the first star is because of the dude in net. And that is the type of weapon that the Avs just have not had over the last couple of years. They've had decent depth at times, but their depth has lacked that offensive punch a lot over the last 3 years. And what that goal shows you is, this is a high skill third line.
Goes back to what we said earlier. There's no shifts off against this Avs team. It's, all right, we got 60 seconds with the Eagles guys out there. We're
just
good.
Survive this and
it's
move
fine.
on.
Don't do anything dumb and we're okay. They'll put legitimate pressure on you.
And for what it's worth, not on the Stars list, but the second best possession line in the game for the Avs was their fourth line. Their bottom 6 outplayed Utah's bottom 6 top to bottom in this game.
So is that more of a positive takeaway to you for how well the bottom 6 played?
Yes,
whereas you could frame it as, the bottom or the top 6 didn't show up.
And they didn't for a decent portion of the game.
Still scored the game-winning goal.
A fair criticism at 5-on-5. The Avs' top 6 was not very good. Even the second line, which at times plays quality at defense, really didn't have very good possession numbers throughout the majority of this game. And you can look at that as a negative if you want, but I look at this as a massive positive in the sense
I do too.
You got away with that.
You know, those top 6 can play so much better and are all but guaranteed to on a night-to-night basis.
You're not worried about them getting there at all, for sure. And your bottom 6 hasn't given you that type of play on a consistent basis in a long time. You individual players, LOC, great. He gives you a bunch every single night. But your third line in particular has been a hodgepodge of players that you're hoping for more out of than you're really getting. And this year it feels like you have a bunch of third line players that you know you're going to get something out of, and they can move up your lineup if you need them to.
Some big face-off wins from Drury in that third period too.
Yeah, Drury is the Avs face-off guy now. I'm in love with this take. He is any situation in a close game, particularly in the defensive zone, you're going to see Jack Drury. He's going to go out there, and it's an NHL faceoff. Being really good at NHL faceoffs mean you 60-40. You're not going to win a billion of them.
It's like being a good hitter in baseball. You still get out a lot.
Right. But compared to historically, the Avs in the faceoff dot are the 40, not the 60.
Yeah.
That's a massive swing for them in...
Over the course of a game, that's probably 5-6 faceoffs in your favor.
Exactly. And especially in that defensive zone, 2-3 faceoffs. And credit to Nathan MacKinnon for this, by the way, at the end of the game. Won a bunch of faceoffs in those last couple of minutes. The Avs iced the puck 6 times in a row, which isn't as great. But
another area he's improved a lot over the years.
He has. He's still...
He's not great. It's not
fine.
his strength.
He's fine now instead of bad.
Not liability.
Yeah, exactly. But those things are something that the Avs have lived without, even in their cup run. It was Kadri, and that's about it for guys that could win faceoffs. It's something they add to their game that they haven't had, and I think particularly in a league where you play so many divisional games, you see so many of the same teams over and over. Adding those little nuances is something that takes teams by surprise.
I'm all in on this bottom 6 right now.
Let's go. The only thing is I want to see Bardakov as the 4C. I hate that Parker Kelly is the 4C.
What don't you like about it?
Parker Kelly's not a center. He's just isn't a center. He knows that. The Avs know that, and they just do it anyway because they need Parker Kelly in the lineup somewhere. He's too good to take out of the lineup, and they need a center. And they feel like Bardakov is, I don't know about young necessarily, but inexperienced in North America. They like their veterans in Kelly and Kiviranta. And Gavin Brindley is in the lineup right now. They're giving him an earned opportunity. I do ultimately see Gavin Brindley probably getting sent down to the AHL sometime in the next 2 weeks, and then Bardakov will slot in as the 4C, and you go from there.
It'd be interesting to see how that kind of impacts that fourth line.
On paper, it should help it because Parker Kelly is a significantly better player on the wing. We had him on in the preseason, and he talked about as a center, he is extremely focused on defense first, and fair enough. Like you should be.
Yeah, I mean, if you're kind of, I don't know, fish out of water is not the right way to say it, but
I mean, kind of.
But play on the defensive,
Right.
Don't create negatives.
He's protecting before he's attacking, and he's much more comfortable on the wing. And I think some fans have kind of created a false narrative around Kelly last year because of how much center he played. There's actually a decent amount of offensive punch for a fourth line guy there when you put him on the wing and he feels more comfortable playing in the offensive zone. He's not going to score 40 points or anything crazy, but you have a third line that's already producing offensively, and you get a more comfortable fourth line with Kelly on the wing and Bardakov in the middle. Kiviranta gave you 16 goals last year. He's not going to repeat that, but there's at least some offensive ability there. You're talking about probably one of the more productive bottom sixes in the NHL at that point.
Do you want to give me your biggest takeaway of the night now, or do we want to go to Bedsy, check out what he had to say in the presser, and wrap up with that?
Let's do our first star before both of those things.
Oh, yeah, man, we got sidetracked,
didn't we? I know. We kind of went on a tangent.
Yeah, we went on a tangent. Yeah. That's my bad.
Star number one, and you know who this is. Bailey said it too, and anyone who watched that game understands that Scott Wedgewood is absolutely the first star of that game.
You're my wedgie wall.
I'm glad one of us can sing because my voice is horrible when it comes to singing.
Can sing and are good at singing are two different, like willing to sing and good at singing are two different things.
We all work in a company with Kale, so.
Yeah, my brother was a vocal major in college
so,
too.
yeah.
So I'm used to being he'll sing it. It's all right.
Through 120 minutes of hockey, Scott Wedgewood has given up 0 goals at 5-on-5.
That sounds good.
You cannot beat him at even strength. And tonight it mirrors somewhat what the Avs did in this game. He greased this one out.
Yeah.
Not that he didn't look really good. He did. But compared to night one against LA, where he was ultra locked in, no rebounds, giving up nothing, it was a little squirrely at times. He was making saves in a sporadic, a little bit wild.
It looked kind of stressful,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
he's pulled it out. It's like, all right, my man, he's vibing, he's moving. Like, it worked out. We're all right.
And that's it. They don't ask how. They ask how many. And Wedgewood got in front of all of them but one on the power play.
That one, probably should have had it.
Yeah,
Credit to them. They
no
got the
doubt.
shot off, off the draw quick, but
I guarantee he'll tell you he wants that one back.
He also had 3 or 4. I mean, a couple of those breakaway saves were
Outrageous. Outrageously
just
good.
on an island and making a play.
And it's easy to forget that this is the Avs backup. This is the number 2. And I'm not going down the path of, who's going to be it's Blackwood. There is no universe where Scott Wedgewood takes the starting role from Mackenzie Blackwood if he's healthy and in the lineup, which is impressive that 1, the Avs have Blackwood to rely on, and 2, after these 2 games, there is not an opponent you're worried about. You
What
want
an
to
embarrassment of riches after coming into the season last year, how night and day.
coffers last year to wealth abound.
The work this front office has done to flip this roster.
It's crazy. It is. People don't give Chris McFarland enough credit. And I know it's like hip in certain circles to hate on Chris McFarland for some of the moves that he makes. And he's not perfect. Not every move is great.
Nobody's going to be.
But I think this is something that got overlooked last year, where the 10 moves in a season is outrageous. They made 10 trades. And all of those moving pieces did cause some issues. Like, there's going to be some chemistry problems. There's going to be some adjustments for those teams. But the vast majority of those moves were not just about last season.
Mm-hmm.
They were about securing the future in the Avs window over these next 3, 4, 5 years with guys like Blackwood, with guys like Wedgewood, with a guy like Marty Necas. And I know the contract still needs to get done. But this is a setup for the Avs going forward. A lot of people felt like it was a bit of an all-in last year, and that really wasn't the case, especially with them bringing Brock Nelson back. This is a setup for another sustained success window for the Colorado Avalanche through the majority of the rest of at least MacKinnon and McCarr's prime.
I guess playing devil's advocate, you maybe wouldn't feel quite as stoked had Nelson
For sure. If he
signed
walked
elsewhere.
away-
You would have also
But you-
lost Lindgren at that point. But I didn't feel like Lindgren was a great system fit anyways.
But the guy who signs the contracts is the same guy who made the trade, so he got the job done.
Yeah, and even some of the ones that were less flashier, like, the goalie moves are obviously phenomenal.
Yeah, no doubt about
But
that.
you could nitpick things, but the process was correct. And if the process is correct, I can live with it. Not every trade is going to be, on
Correct.
paper, this made sense for whatever reason. It didn't work out, but
They went out and got Victor Olofsson this offseason, and he was involved in the dopest goal of the game. So McFarland is good at what he does.
C-Mac. I stand.
I'm here. We're on Team CMAC for sure. There's no doubt about that. I don't know. Should we do the Bednar presser first, and then we'll do big takeaways?
Yeah, let's
Are
get
we good
to
to
it
go?
real quick.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hit Bednar.
Questions for Jared?
Coach, a little sleepy in that second period. What was your overall assessment of this game?
Not moving in the second period, and then lots of turnovers in the neutral zone. I think we kind of got going a little bit at the end of the first, and then in the second we got cute with it, stopped putting pucks in and stopped forechecking, and they were just sitting up on everything and turning it back on us and gave up way too many rush chances. Just looking through the scoring chances against, most of them came off our turnovers. I don't think there was a the lack of commitment to defend. It just, if you mismanage the puck and you're going on offense and you turn it over, they're going to go the other way in a hurry, especially that team. So got to be much better with that. But score first again. Guys made some big plays at big moments. Power play gets a big one in the third, and penalty kill does a nice job on a kill that keeps us with the lead. So, and then Wedge was outstanding.
How do you assess a power play? It feels like this is the second game in a row. Some of the opportunities you have just aren't generating much, and then you get a goal.
Yeah, well, you got to look at some of the things that they're working on and trying to do, and like part of it, for me in both games, part of it's like recognition and execution. You know what I mean? Like the execution 5-on-5 with the puck has not been good for the first two games, and it's it's also on the power play. I think there's plays to be made in LA, especially that we didn't make and couldn't execute, and today kind of the same thing. But you got to stick with it. You got to find a way. They've gotten, as a group, they've gotten more dangerous off the rush attack this year so far in 2 games. And we get rewarded once tonight on that. And there's a couple other things they're talking about, like shooting off face-offs. We get rewarded the other night. So there's some positives in there, but there's still lots of work to do for sure, getting them on the same page. But I'd say like the retrieval work, the competitiveness, tonight, in the battles and getting numbers on pucks, and it's something the power play has to do as well. And we struggle with it 5-on-5, so we struggle with it on the power play a little bit tonight too.
Coach, you mentioned Scott Wedgewood, being key for you guys. Now, what can you say about him being able to step in, do that, and give your group not only a chance to win, but I'm sure a big confidence boost?
Yeah, we don't win without him tonight for sure. He's a veteran guy. He wants the net. He's a highly competitive guy. He looks really sharp. Looks like he did when we got him in the trade last year, and he started to run the table on games for us. Gave our team a big boost. I don't like leaning on our goalie like that. But it didn't look like we had a lot of jump tonight. I thought they had much more jump than we did for whatever reason. And some nights you have it, and some nights you don't. You got to find a way to grind through it. And on those nights, you need your goalie big time. And we got him tonight. So we feel confident with Wedge and Blackie. Wedge is the only guy available right now out of the two, and if he continues to play like that, it's a good sign for us.
Drury only struggled a little bit in possession against LA and tried tonight and gets rewarded with a goal.
Who's that?
The Drury line.
Yeah.
What was the biggest difference from one game to the next?
Great first period tonight for me. And then they kind of went away for a while, but they did some good things. But that was their best line in the first period. The biggest difference I saw is they were coming to the puck, like they were skating onto the puck, better puck support. You get spread out on a team like this, they're not giving you a bunch of room off the rush, right? So you're gonna have to get your chip game going, and they did that. That's how they scored their goal. G gets it by him, and then they're all pouring onto it, and they catch an odd man rush that they execute on, and they had other plays that they made, like just being around the puck and being in good support of one another and kind of outnumbering them on the puck. And I thought in the LA game they were a little bit more spread out. Yeah.
Jared, how would you assess Gabe Landeskog for 2 games? And obviously he was in front of the net on the Nathan MacKinnon game winner. Do you like him on power play 1 there?
Yep. I like the personnel. We have options, but we're game 2, and it's new units and new coach, and it's going to take some time for him to gel, so we're going to be patient. Obviously we have the ability to switch things up if we want. I think Gabe's been good, more involved tonight. Lots of penalties in the LA game, which kind of was weird. A lot of special teams for him and less 5-on-5, but after a rough second period, I thought that line set the tone for us in the third. They had a couple really good shifts. Gabe getting physical, checking the puck back, getting some extended zone time. And it's just little things like that kind of carry over through the group, and he was for sure leading the way with that in the third period. So I've liked him so far through 2 games.
Last month,
I think you said in the past, you're not a big goalie guy, you're not going to break down what Scott's doing well, but just having Scott and McKenzie whenever they're both playing well? Like, just how is that different for you as the head coach?
Well, I mean, we feel like we put a goalie in the net, they're going to give us a real good chance to win every night. They're going to do their job, and sometimes above and beyond, like tonight. And you need that if you're going to win a lot in this league, so it's a luxury to have. That's where our team's built, like we're not paying one guy $10 million. We're paying two guys, and we expect them both to be able to do that. It's kind of the way the league's going now, they're both veteran guys. They're both good in the room. So we like our tandem. We like it a lot.
With a lot of conversation about Gavin Brindley kind of getting his shots and liking Kelly on the wing, is that just kind of how the cookie crumbles, so to speak, to give Brindley that shot and Bartikov getting scratched?
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, if I move Kelly to the wing, I don't have a fourth line center right now, unless I'm playing Bartikov and I want Brindley in right now. They'll both get opportunities. I liked them both in camp, but I think Brindley's earned the job through his exhibition camp and also game one. I liked him in game one, so he's pretty good tonight in some areas as well. As a team that struggled, he's competitive. He's on pucks. He's tenacious, and I want to give him an opportunity. He's a young guy, and if you want him to grow, you got to put him in situations to grow.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Good timing there with the Bedsy commentary on Parker Kelly and then why he's currently positioned the way he is.
Add it up for us on that one. Sometimes lucky, I guess.
Does that logic check to you? Do you agree with what Bedsy is saying in terms of why they're doing it the way they are?
I get it. I would probably scratch a veteran to put Bartikov in. If it were down to me, I'd have Kiviranta as your 13th forward, and I'd have Bartikov in the lineup as your center on that fourth line. But yeah, NHL coaches struggle to play one rookie, let alone two, and so they got Brindley in there at least. I understand it.
Got to get him a chance to develop. I get it, but I kind of lean more on your side of things. I think the more that I think, just play him, and though you're going to have to roll with some punches here and there, but the long-term payoff could be substantial.
Yep. We'll see. Obviously, every player is going to have to earn their keep at some point. Bartikov will get his opportunities, and he's going to have to prove he deserves that four-center job for things to align perfectly there. But again, the Avs have the luxury of they don't have to worry as much about that this year. They have multiple options they can go with. If you want to see other 4Cs, you can play an Ivan, a Nikita Prishchapov when he gets healthy. You can get call-up guys in there. And it's just not going to be as bad as it was last year. Even when injuries crop up, they do every year, it would take an act of God for it to be as bad as it was last year. So it's just going to be easier on that front for Colorado.
We're going to get to our super chats, give some final takeaways, but let me just go ahead and do it now before we get into the flow of things. Let's throw it to overtime. If you're watching via TV, head over to thednvr.com. You can check out the last couple of minutes of the show, finish it on up, and we go in live again with Rudo on Saturday night for a big one against Dallas.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to do super chats first or overarching takeaways?
Whatever's easier. I guess we could do takeaways first. By the way, nice when we go to overtime and the game doesn't. I do enjoy
Thank
that.
the Lord. As someone who has to drive back to northern Colorado after this, thank God. I'll go first on my biggest takeaway because it's kind of short and sweet. I like that the Avs showed some killer instinct in this one.
Yep.
Wasn't an A game. This isn't one, 6 months from now we're going to look back on and, remember that home opener against Utah? What a riveting night.
Yep.
But they found a way when the game was there for the taking to get the clutch goal. I liked the mentality in the third period early on. They continued to go for the kill until, gets to a point, a couple minutes left, and you dial it back a little bit. That makes sense. But I like that they showed the killer instinct.
Yeah. Even that second power play was a good power play from the Colorado Avalanche. They didn't score on it.
Yeah.
You could have put the game away 3-1, fair enough, but it was good. Very good movement, quality opportunities, shots to the net. It looked much more like the power play you want to see out of Colorado, and the reality of power plays is they're just not going to score on all of them. compared to the earlier two, which were just bad. Let's not talk about those. My big takeaway from this one is that the Avs have it all. They can win a game in a million different ways on any given night. You want your superstars to blow a team out? They can do that. You want your depth to get you some big goals, grind a game out? They can do that. You're not playing your A game and you need your goalie to bail you out? They can do that. Your defense can jump in on both ends of the ice when necessary. You have multiple opportunities, multiple layers of players that aren't just out there doing nothing. They're winning you games. And that's going to be a team that's hard to beat. Day in, day out, hard to beat. You're not going to need it every night, but you have it in the bag. And right now, while I do expect the Avs to increase their quality of play through the next 8, 10, 15 games, everything feels like it's in the bag. It's just if they can pull it out on any given night.
All the tools are there. Can you use them?
Exactly. Exactly right. Super chats?
Let's do it.
$5 from Astray, who says, I know the Avs are watching Nabokov's development, but man, Wedge is such a good backup. It'll be hard knowing we'll move on from him someday for youth. I would preach a little bit of balance here. It's very easy to get hype on a guy who's played so well as Wedgewood had in these first 2 games, but the classic NHL backup is you put him in for 5 games and anyone can be great for 5 games. You get to game 10, game 15, that's why they're
Start to revert to the mean
exactly,
at some point.
Exactly. Not that Wedgewood hasn't been great, not that Wedgewood can't be great, but just keep in mind his career averages.
Take it with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. And then $5 from the Walrus, who says, Super Chat got refunded game 1. Glad to see everyone back and witness some atomic wedgies from Mr. Wedgewood. Thank you very much.
Much love, y'all.
You maybe can trust your farts with Wedgie in that. Just maybe.
You never know. That's a dangerous game, my friend.
It is.
You lose that battle one time. It's not worth it. It's not worth the risk after that. This was fun. I'm looking forward to being a bigger part of the DNVR Avalanche coverage this season. I know I'm no Eric Lacroix, but I promise you guys I'll work my tail off to bring you the best possible coverage. If you're into college football, I'm still doing the CSU football thing as well. 2-0. 2-0 feels good.
2-0, baby. J-Mike's the best. I'm super looking forward to all the home games this year. I'm looking forward to the work we're doing with Bailey. It's going to be a great season for us and for the Avalanche, hopefully.
Thank you for listening to the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use that code DNVR365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. Much love, y'all. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your Friday. I'll be here Saturday night.
We all silly like the mayor.
I was going to say, tune in.